Are you tired of hearing nothing but negativity in the mainstream media? More and more stories of supposed failures in race relations, poverty, and all sorts of Debbie Downer stuff that really affects the way we think in our society. And yet, look at all the positive changes and accomplishments we have made in the past 60 plus years. It's amazing what we've done in progress in our society, and yet we want to focus in on the negative. Imagine if you were on a sports team and after every victory, there was no celebration. All it was a detailed look at all of the failures that you did in the game, even though you won. You know what? After a while, it really gets depressing. Now, let's take a look at your business. Do you have a way to celebrate your wins in your business, or are you as a business leader constantly focusing in on your team's mistakes and failures in the belief that by me pointing out their failures they become better? No, you're actually self-sabotaging your team, and you probably don't even realize this. You see, when your people when you fail to take a look at focusing in on successes in your business, your people get more and more discouraged. Then the overall team morale plummets because they are told how bad they are, and finally people quit and find a place where they can get validation for their successes. You see, when you celebrate your way to success, your employees know where they have won, and it gives them excitement and purpose. Your team morale improves, and your employees stay and are loyal. So here's the deal. Our brains are wired to go after more of what we want. This is what is part of the reticular activating system. It's the compass for your brain. When we celebrate, our brain tells us that it likes the celebration and we want more of it. Therefore, we, by nature, will work hard to win again in order to get that dopamine hit that our brain creates. It's an upward spiral. It's the opposite with focusing on failures. You constantly are told that it's wrong what you did, that there's continued correction. Guess what happens? Your brain wants to go away from that. And next thing you know, it's a disaster. So let's talk about 3 things that you can focus in on in celebrating your way to success in your business. First one is you need to catch your employees doing something right. This is something that comes out of the book Whale Done by Ken Blanchard, a fantastic book. It's a short and easy read. I'd recommend you go out and get that book. So too many times we focus in on finding things our employees are doing wrong and correct them. And after a while, they try to avoid you because who wants to be always corrected? See, when you deliberately work at catching people doing things right, you encourage more of what they are doing right. It's an upward spiral. So every single day, find that thing that somebody has done well and give them a high five. Give them an attaboy or attagirl or whatever. You're going to reinforce that and want them to get more and more of those activities. The second thing is you need to be very deliberate on finding things to celebrate. Too many times we get an improvement in a certain category, such as revenue or profit increase or an uptick in market share, and we think, nah, that's what's supposed to happen. However, what may be a meh for you may excite people, and they need to know that their work is making a difference. See, here's the whole thing. People want to know when we are successful as a company. And too many times when we are successful as a company, that's not known by them. They don't realize what great things that we've done as a company because you've thought of it as a meh moment. So I want you to, every time you get a win, you need to be deliberate at celebrating that victory with your team. And the third thing is to make it part of your culture and structural meeting rhythm. So take a look at your culture. Do you have a value of celebration and recognition as part of your culture? Perhaps it's time to add that into your culture. and values. Also, make sure you have a plan consistently recognizing people at team meetings on a consistent basis. Have a team meeting where towards the end of the team meeting, we have the individual wins or something that celebrates a victory that a team member or a group has done. Here's the thing is that when you plan on recognizing success, it actually happens. Now, I want to share with you a very personal story of what celebrating success meant to me. In the Army, I had been driven down by a boss who was an expert at verbally beating the tar out of me. Nothing I nor my fellow officers ever did met expectations of this very narcissistic leader. Even though he ended up getting fired because of his poor leadership abilities, it left me scarred and uncertain in my abilities as an Army officer. Well, enter a guy named Major Robert Soldner, who became my boss in my last assignment in the Army. And he recognized my potential even though I was actually leaving the Army. He didn't have to pour any effort into me because I was on my way out. What did he do instead? He caught me doing things right. I would bring in a report in and he'd look it over and he'd go, "Outstanding job, Lieutenant Weir." And he would come into my office and said, "Just want to let you know that the translation work that you did at that meeting yesterday was fantastic. Good job." Or he'd take a document that I would write and he would look it over and he pointed out what he really liked about it. And when he did help me identify things I could do better, it wasn't a negative, it was a positive. And it's amazing to this day that I remember him as somebody who lifted me up from the depths of despair in my own Army career and helped me become the leader that I am today. So if you're Major Soldner, if you're watching this, I really appreciate what you did all those years ago. So here's the thing I want you to do is I want you to click below and set up a 30-minute strategy call where I can help you come up with a game plan on how you can celebrate your way to success and help your team focus in on the victories that they are getting and not focusing on the defeats they encounter, because guess what? We all will get defeats, and when we focus in on our defeats, guess what? It's a downward spiral. I want to help you as a business owner get that upward spiral growing in your business. So click below, get onto my calendar, let's talk. It doesn't cost you anything. It's my job to help you be the better business owner that I know you can be. Go out there, make it happen.